Hello everybody, we're going to talk about lesson 9 today, and I don't know, yesterday's lesson was continuing on with the letting go of the past and recognizing how much our past experiences and our the influences of our past experiences can affect how we live our life today. Today, lesson 9 is I see nothing as it is now. So that's a bit of a different. Now we're, I think, coming into the present, and I know that yesterday's lesson may have brought up, and I think it probably did for me at some point in time, bring up that whole idea of, well, if I let go of the past, then like, what's wrong with my memories? What's wrong with having memories and remembering all the really great things in my past? And it's really not about giving up your memories. It's more about letting them influence how you behave today, good or bad. Like, oh, remember when things used to be, remember the good old days when things used to be blah, 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 blah. It's that type of, it's looking at your past from that perspective, not from the perspective of, okay, this is what happened in the past. Was something joyful that happened in the past, and that's fine. But not to measure what's happening now by what has happened in the past, either good or bad, positive or negative. So let's go on and read lesson 9. I see nothing as it is now. This idea obviously follows from the two preceding ones, but while you may be able to accept it intellectually, it is unlikely that it will mean anything to you as yet. So don't be too upset if you can't get the meaning, because it's not always about getting the meaning. It's sometimes just about chopping wood and carrying water. You do it, and then eventually you see why you were doing it. However, understanding is not necessary at this point. In fact, the recognition that you do not understand is a prerequisite for undoing your false ideas. These exercises are concerned with practice, not with understanding. So basically what I said. You do not need to practice what you already understand. It would indeed be circular to aim at understanding and assume that you have it already. It is difficult for the untrained mind to believe that what it seems to picture is not there. This idea can be quite disturbing and may meet with active resistance in any number of forms. Yet that does not preclude applying it. No more than that is required for these or any other exercises. Each small step will clear a little of the darkness away, and understanding will finally come to lighten every corner of the mind that has been cleared of the debris that darkens it. These exercises, for which 3 or 4 practice periods are sufficient, involve looking about you and applying the idea for the day to whatever you see, remembering the need for its indiscriminate application and the essential rule of excluding nothing. For example, I do not see this typewriter as it is now. That's kind of old-fashioned, isn't it? We can use keyboard instead. I do not see this telephone as it is now. I do not see this arm as it is now. Begin with things that are nearest you and then extend the range outward. I do not see that coat rack as it is now. I do not see that door as it is now. I do not see that face as it is now. It is emphasized again that while complete inclusion should not be attempted, specific exclusion must be avoided. Be sure you are honest with yourself in making this distinction. You may be tempted to obscure it. So really pay attention to when you're trying to avoid certain things. These are very concrete things, but sometimes when we're looking at, say, a person, we might look at them and say that, and we might be inclined to pass over that and say, oh, I'll go and look at this instead. And that's really what they're talking about when they talk about exclusion, to really be aware of when you may be excluding things because it might bring up a little bit of uncomfortable feelings in you. And the whole idea is to be able to not judge and avoid, what's uncomfortable, and only be in the space of what's really comfortable. I think we do a lot of that, and that's really running away from what it is that needs to be brought to the light. So any darkness that needs to be brought into the light so that we can see it clearly and have clearer vision needs to have that space that it can be brought into the light. And if we are denying it or glossing over it for any reason, then it's going to stay buried inside us, and it's going to be just another one of those blocks from feeling and being the love. So with that, remember that everything you feel and everything that you're going through and all the resistance and all the acceptance are all part of the process, and just let yourself move through it. I'll see you tomorrow for lesson number 10. Have a great day. Bye.